All right, good people. So we need to talk. 23 is back, and joining me tonight, I have what was it, three first-time guests and one returning guest. Ladies first. Uh, uh, Coffee with Kendra. How you doing, Kendra?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I have Ken Fluence,
How y'all doing?
and then I have Grown Man Logic. How are you gentlemen doing this evening?
I'm well. Don't forget about the uncomfortable conversation. That's he's gonna get uncomfortable with it.
Hey,
Look,
It
man.
is. It
Facts.
definitely will.
I was gonna get there. I was gonna get there, but I wanted to start here. So starting with ladies first, since this has been a while since you've been on with me, Kendra, just let the people know what Coffee with Kendra is.
Coffee with Kendra is like a talk show surrounding dating and relationships and now movies and celebrity gossip on YouTube. Um, and I mean that's all it's about. It's fun.
Okay. And Kenfluence, what is your platform about?
Yeah, so this is Kenneth from Kinfluence. My platform is about positivity, fitness, and it's really self-hope focused as well. So trying to get to the core of what makes us people and how to best not necessarily live your life, but things that I've learned along the way that may be helpful to you.
Okay, well, grown man. You know what is it? Uncomfortable conversations.
The uncomfortable
Uh,
conversation.
there you go, sir.
This is this is Eric. Y'all also know me as that one guy from the uncomfortable conversation. Over there on the uncomfortable conversation, we talk about conversations y'all scared to have. We talk about mental health, family trauma, building wealth, pretty much everything y'all scared to talk about. We probably be canceled by the end of the season.
Mm.
But we trying to keep it. No, we ain't. We here.
All right, and grown man logic.
What's happening? This captain of the cool kids, Dewan J, representing the Grown Man Logic podcast with my other cohorts on here. Grown Man Logic platform, man, is simply about building better people through critical thinking and accountability. That's it.
All right, straight to the point. Straight to the point. So I'll start out with a softball question, and of course we start with the ladies first, and everybody else can chime in after that. So Kendra, what made you start doing your podcast or your talk show?
Okay. Um, this right here, people asking me to get on their podcast. So guest starring on podcasts pretty much got me to start my own podcast that, I've always kind of looked at my podcast more as like a talk show anyway. Like, it's not that serious.
All right, and Ken, Dewan, Eric.
I'll jump in. So I started man, probably about a year ago. I was heavy on Snapchat and I was always dropping advice to folks and whether they wanted it or not, I was gonna give it to you. And it was like, dang, bro, your joint's 10, 15 minutes. Just get a podcast. Damn, just do it. And I was like, all right, cool. So I made the page and I started off as everything again as not a podcast. I started off as a motivational speaker, accountability coach. I did fitness things, and then they're like, but the podcast though. So I eventually did the podcast, and again, it's centered around a lot of things in my life that I can kind of help bridge the gap to. So like academia, government, industry, and then it's generally being a whole happy, fulfilled person. So
You about to
yep.
take this advice though.
You won't take it though.
I'll say that the uncomfortable conversation. It started off of the death of my brother. He committed suicide, and it was just something that we all knew he had issues, but nobody wanted to talk about it. So I was like, yo, you know, we're not the only family that's going through this, and all of our family issues. Somebody's going through this, and we need to give out some type of advice or something. Like, let's start the conversation. That's it. That was it. And from there, it just went everywhere.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I didn't know that. But,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, wait to make us uncomfortable already. Now,
I know, Eric.
Right.
No, I'm just playing.
everybody came with positive vibes, uplifting stories. You'd be like, oh well,
No, it
actually
was still
uncomfortable topic.
positive.
Positive. That's how it started. Because everybody was scared to talk about it. So
Right.
it's like, yo, listen, look, this happened. And then with being a military member, I'm sorry, I'm a veteran now, but like veterans, they lose their lives a lot. And it's like,
Yeah, facts.
we need to talk about, like, let's stop being scared. Let's address the elephant in the room. Let's talk about it. I'm sorry. Go ahead, D.
It's my turn.
yes,
Oh,
sir.
my bad.
Oh no. Grown Man Logic got started. Carla actually, salute to she blows it in that brand and Liberated and everything she got going on. She actually bullied me into podcasting. I met I knew Eric from the military. I met Kendra when I was actually promoting my book. I also met Carla promoting my book. And I would always throw these critical thinking like quotes inside of my stories. And she was like, yo, you need to talk about this. And then she recruited Kendra. I think Kendra actually jumped on thinking it was going to be a one-off. And and that was it. And then I was like, yo, it's too much estrogen in the fucking room, bro. Like I need some help. And here we are, man, 5-6 months later, man. And I feel like that this train is just now starting to take on the cold that we showed into it, man. So like this is only the beginning.
Okay. So before, I always got questions before we jump into our main topics and stuff like that. So the one question I ask all of my guests, since most of my guests are podcasters, has there ever been a time when you wanted to say, fuck this and just walk away from podcasting?
Right
Every
now.
time I gotta edit,
Mhm.
yep. Start editing, you like, damn, it ain't worth it.
Okay, editing, yes. Editing, I'll be like, man, fuck this shit. They gonna wait another week for this. I'm done.
From like it's crazy because like I'm on the autistic spectrum, so editing for me is actually like I love it.
Mhm.
Right, like it's like I love putting like time cues and shit together. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like y'all see the shit, man. I'm throwing up fucking reels and like, bro, I love it. For me, I don't think I haven't hit that point of burnout yet. But when I do feel like quitting, it's usually people that make it happen, right? And I just like, man, these motherfuckers, man. It's usually people that give me fatigue quicker than the actual work on the podcast.
Yeah, no, for me, I feel like I'm right there right now, and I've been there quite a few times since I started. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like the podcast community is running in circles, and I don't want to be a part of that circle. Editing, you guys know, I mean, they know for sure how I feel about the editing, right? I'm still sitting on podcasts because I don't want to edit, right? So it's editing. It's like and then it's Instagram, promoing with Instagram. And sometimes I'm just like, I don't feel like doing this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. And then being that, it's not something that I'm like passionate about. I do like it. Like I said, I like it, but yeah, there's been plenty of times I'm right there right now where I'm just like, I don't know if this is actually for me.
I think what Kendra is saying is, if somebody knows how to edit, they can make a bag right now. So if you got any type of skills, drop your line.
Hey, wait,
SOS.
No, we're not farming this out. We're not farming this out. You got to edit it in-house on the conversation. Fuck you, man.
I'm a cash app you, brother. I'm a cash app.
Hey, let me know what's good. Have your people call my people. Let's do lunch.
All right, then.
No,
we'll do coffee instead.
Yeah, but I feel the same way. But for me, it was a little different for me. In the beginning, I thought it was, the success and the followers. I thought it was just gonna come with it, because I sat there and I never had any intentions on doing a podcast. For me, it was more. I think everybody heard this story before, but I'll keep telling it till people get sick of it. But I only started podcasting after George Floyd got killed. And for me, it was, like I said, I have 3 boys. And the first thing that ran through my head was, I felt like a failure, because in my head, I'm telling myself, like, I promised my boys that I would always protect them. And then when George Floyd got killed, and you sit there and watch that shit, it was just like I feel like I failed my boys because no matter what I teach them or what I instill in them, when they go out into the streets, it's I can't do a damn thing to protect them. So one of my cousins was like, oh no, actually I reached out to my cousins and I was like, this Zoom shit, everybody talking about it. We gonna get on here and we just gonna talk. So I think I did it for about 3 or 4 weeks, and by the fourth week, somebody was like, "You should record these and post them." So I started out on YouTube. So I started putting them out. Then somebody's like, "You should make a podcast out of it." I didn't know what the hell I was doing in the beginning. I
Mhm.
think I have an episode that's like 2.5 hours long because I just recorded and put the shit out. And I didn't know anything about editing. And then once I started doing it, I was like, man, fuck, the numbers not looking good. I'm like, I'm putting out good content talking about what was going on at the
Yeah.
time. George Floyd, defund the police and all this other stuff. And then I was like, the numbers not adding up. And I was ready to say, fuck this, throw them, the laptop away, all this shit. And my wife was like, nah, keep going. People gonna start to listen. And then to where I am now in my fourth season.
Yo, but don't you do you feel like that's a problem inside of like the Black community though? Like a lack of follow through, or we give up like too easy, right? Like in a sense that not just in a podcast community, but like us as Black people, we like, you know what I'm saying? You'll work at something and you'll grind at it and you'll grind at it, and when it's not looking good and when your back's against the wall, you're kind of just like, ah man, fuck it, and then we move on too fast instead of like breaking the wall. Like I know that Ken is a marathon runner, right? But he didn't just wake up out of his fucking bed and was like, yo, let me go run these 26.2. Like, you know what I'm saying? He had hit a wall at running sometimes, but I feel like a lot of times as Black people, like we give up way too soon.
Yeah,
Mm.
I agree. I think we do because and I think we fall into that trap of social media as much as, and I'm honest enough to say it, I think as much as we give this generation so much shit about the be following the social media, I think that's what it was that oh well, I'm doing the same shit he doing, and it's not on any, at least to me, I didn't see it as hate. I'm looking at it like I'm doing the same shit he's doing, and I know my shit is better than his. How come he has so many followers? And I
Mhm.
would ask people like, "What are you doing?" And some people buying followers, all this type shit, and I'm not one of them people because I'm like you, Kendra. I hate social media, and I do a bad job at promoting myself. But I'm like, how come my numbers aren't there? And that's why I was willing to quit because I was just like, not that it was too much work, but like I should be there already. And
Yeah.
that's because, like I said, because of the social media era that we're in, it's just like I'm posting every week. I'm, putting out, clips, trailers of my episodes, and how come I'm only getting 20 likes? And I'm putting out good content, and that's why I think it is why we give up so quick is because we look at it and think that you know we should have instant gratification.
But do you think that comes with like forgetting like why you started doing it in the first place,
Yeah.
right? Like like you understand what I'm saying? Like you
Mhm.
remember your why, right? Like and me listening, that was the first time I had heard that story, by the way. And I'll listen to you tell it again, like your story about the George Floyd thing. Like I think there was some bars to be told there, but I think that like that it sounds like the fatigue is like we get caught up in ourselves and
Mhm.
forget why we actually started doing it, right? Like nobody really notices or is aware of how many people you actually help with your platform, right? Like,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying? You think that you just set up a camera and a microphone and just talk your shit, but it's deeper than that, right? Like these people that follow you that are non-podcasters, they follow you for a reason. They talk to you for a reason. They tune in every week for a reason, right?
Mhm.
Because you've touched them in some kind of way. And I think that's important that we as podcasters and influencers don't lose sight of that. Like at that point, once you start to gain followers, it's almost, I don't want to say you owe them, but
Mhm.
it's kind of like there's a connection there, right?
Yeah.
And like you kind of don't want to let them people down, right? You don't
Yeah.
owe anybody anything. Let me be clear, but like it's kind of like, yo, I've helped this person, and this person probably put me on to somebody else, and that
Mhm.
I probably helped that person too. So now it's kind of like,
Paying it back.
yeah, I'm here, right? Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
I've achieved some kind of level of success, and where people are looking up to me, and I think it's important that we don't lose sight of that.
I think that's an excellent point you made, the one and Ringo. I felt when you were saying no, when the one said we can't lose track of our why. I think that's why I struggle as much as I do, because I never had a why. And it was something I was just kind of doing for fun. So I find myself struggling a lot because I don't have a why, and then I don't have a support system really. So it's just me out here, and then like you said, you do that comparison. I know you do it, you can't help but compare. Like you can't help but compare and say, like, I know that I have quality X, Y, and Z, and and my shit is not growing, and it's frustrating because it's like, okay, well, I'm, so yeah, I'd be like, what, sometimes I just be like, fuck it, I ain't gonna do a show today. Shit, ain't nobody paying attention to this. But then, like Dewan said, I actually do have women. I have men too, but I have women that actually reach out and say, man, I'm glad you talked about this because this happened to me, and like down they'll like ask me what I think about things, and so that's a powerful thing to be able to like touch somebody and say, I'm glad you talked about this because now I have a different different thought process, or I've learned something from something that you said that I didn't really look at it that way. But it's a constant, it's a give and take type of thing.
Ongoing battle. Oh
yeah.
K-Dot, hold on, K-Dot. Wait. Because I'm going to call you out on this. You got a support system.
I do have a support system.
You do, right? And I haven't said it. Y'all know how I am in a group chat. I'm terrible. But, like, somebody reached out to me off of one of our episodes, and they was like, yo, who's that girl on there? This is like season 1. I'm like, oh, that's Carla from She Blows It. That's Coffee with Kendra. Well, which one is which? What? Coffee with Kendra. It says Coffee with Kendra. Like she says it, and she got the motherfucking coffee. She's always drinking. All right, the one with the one you had braids in. I was like, the one with the braids in it is Kendra. The one with and she was like, yo, she said this, and I'm like, okay. She says that all the time. You haven't been listening? No, not really, but I listened to a couple of her shows, and she talked like. She said, Kendra says what women are afraid to say. Like, they only think of it one way. Kendra look at it from a man's perspective also. And I was like, oh, yeah, what, because I know you. I'm like, oh, yeah, whatever. Yeah, that's Kendra. They're like, oh, yeah, I'm a follower. What's her name? Don't DM me again. Don't DM me.
At this point. But to answer your question, kind of to tie back to what Kendra said, too, more specifically as it pertains to Black people, right? I think that it comes down to two things. I think that self-talk, how we're taught to talk to ourselves, and like that internal voice that's going on. So if you don't have a why, you're hearing stuff like, well, nobody's listening, no way, nobody's checking in, you running yourself in circles, what are you doing all this extra work for? And I think there's something in us that, like, at this point has been ingrained in us that you need to conserve energy because you don't know what the next battle about to be. You don't know what the next obstacle is going to be. So why are you spinning your circles? Why are you burning through your resources? You don't have unlimited resources like other folks do. So make sure that you're protecting those, and you're making sure that you can delve those things out and ration them as you need to. And the other thing too is I don't think we have the mentors and the coaches that some other communities have. And we don't have enough people stepping up saying, like, not come seek me out, but hey, no, Ken's a mentor, Ken's a coach, Ken's an accountability dude. If you need help, come to me. Not enough people out there putting their information out there, not enough people out there being approachable enough to make young cats feel safe and comfortable to figure something out. Because I know when I was a kid, I had a lot of things I wanted to do, but those things didn't really get nurtured. So some things I came back to as an adult, and other things I was like, well, nobody taught me that, this is going to be important later, or there's a lesson to be learned here, or you don't got to be good at everything. If you like it, keep rolling with it. So yeah, between those two things right there, I think that really puts the pressure on us.
Yeah, and I think that, like you said, with the nurturing thing, and like you said, it's what we're taught too, because when I was younger, I've been a big person like all my life. Like I've been 6'2" since I was in the 5th grade. Right? So when I was younger, I was a hell of a baseball player. Okay. And then I got approached, and they were like, and they talked me out of playing baseball. It was like, why the hell are you doing this? It was like black people don't play baseball. I went and started playing basketball, and I'm a natural athlete. I can play just about anything. I may not be the best, but I'm gonna give you my all, and I'm gonna be pretty good at it. So I started playing basketball, and what happened to me was I stopped growing. I hit my growth spurt in the fifth grade. That was it. So I went from being one of the bigger kids when I got to high school. I went from being a power forward in the center to being a damn point guard. Now, if I wouldn't have gotten, if they didn't talk me, or I don't even know if unnurtured is a word, but it's gonna be a word tonight. But
Unnurtured them.
they unnurtured me from playing from playing from playing
Copyright.
baseball, and they taught me, and taught me to, go play basketball. So I think that it's just like, all right, if this isn't working or somebody else doesn't think that it's working, you just go do something else. And like I said, because I was just a natural athlete, it was a sort of a seamless transition for me into it. But like you said, the nurturing, if they would have kept feeding me, and what I needed to keep to continue to play baseball and also talking me into playing basketball, I could have done both. But
Yeah.
they made me choose.
Bro,
Mm.
the worst people in the world are the if I was you people.
Ooh.
Like those are like the worst people in the world, bro. Like it's kind of like, yo, girl, if I was you, boy, if I was you, but you're not.
Mm.
All right, like you understand what I'm saying? Because like I mean, coming up as like teens and shit, like you know what I'm saying, we don't necessarily know what the roadmap is, right? So we look to our friends and our family and our cousins for like counsel, right? For what do you think? You looking for opinions, right? But if you go back and look at it now, we're all in our 30s, you know what I'm saying, approaching 40, with the exception of Ken. He got some, you know what I'm saying, peach fuzz down there. But I mean,
It's growing in. It's growing in. I had to go into work today, man. Hold on.
but
I just realized Ken was still in his 20s. Seriously, I thought you was like
Early.
32. Yeah.
but if you look at all of that stuff that these people told us when we was like teenagers, right? It was all bad fucking advice. It was all to take the easier route out.
Mhm.
You understand? Like, because like black people don't play baseball. Oh, so what?
But with that, they're looking at a field of limited options,
Mhm.
right? Like when they grew up and when their parents grew up, you had choice A, B, hell, maybe C. And C was like, oh, look at you. And from that, it was kind of like, again, I think it was a safety thing. I think it was there's some type of safety, I think, in groupthink to an extent, especially in vulnerable communities.
Mhm.
If th- so biology, I equate everything back to biology. Like if you look back at like our herd of grazing animals, like an antelope or wildebeest, zebra, whatever it is, the one that's different, the one that's over there making his own decisions, that's the one probably gonna die. So it's you laughing, but that's true. That little
No,
wandering
I'm laughing because it's true.
it's true. So for us as a community, as a very vulnerable community at that, when we wanting us all to do well and wanting us all to be safe and preserved, I think some of that too has been like, oh man, I see you over there doing something different. No, we don't do that. Zebras don't do that. Come over here. No, oh no, we don't do that. You're gonna get hurt doing that. You're gonna waste your time doing that. You're gonna waste money doing that. So, and I think part of it too is you done did it yourself because somebody told you that you're wasting your time. You're burning resources, and you felt that bad feeling of doing that. You didn't spun your wheels and did your best. You're trying to spare somebody else the hurt that you felt, not knowing that that might not be their situation at all. You projected.
Mhm.
True. That's a bar.
That's
That's a
facts.
bar.
Those are facts right there. Those are facts.
That's a bar.
That's influence is what it is. But I'm
Gem dropper.
So, all right. So we're gonna jump into our topic of the night, and like I said, it goes both ways. So I'll start here. As far as our community goes, the topic for tonight for the listeners is can't we all just get along? Now I'm talking in terms of us as a community, out in the world, and then us as podcasters. But we're gonna start out in the world first, and then we'll talk about the podcasting part in a minute. But why, and for the most part, we all have our own answer or probably the same answer. But why can't we we all, just get along to a certain extent. And the reason that that came into my head when I, initially sent out the invite to you all, it was mainly about podcasting. But then I'm here in the DC area, and some of the stuff that we've had in the past, I want to say 2 weeks, it's, you know, us getting along, not getting along actually, has taken the life of an 8-year old and then a 2-year old last Friday, a 2-year old and her mother, or I think it was a girl. It might be a little boy, but an 8-year old and a 2-year old minding their business. I believe the 8-year old was in his room in his house. Got hit with a straight bullet. The 2-year old girl and the mother or 2-year old child, they were in the car. And I'm just like, I don't understand why we hate us so damn much that you got to be that reckless to shoot, knowing that there's a child around, and then you end up killing a 2-year old. So, can I honestly asking, can we all get along, or do we feel, or do you think it's almost, there's always hope, but do you feel that it's almost too far gone at this point?
I
Ladies
don't think
first.
it's.
I'm pouring a drink.
Okay.
No,
I don't think it's.
This
Okay.
got heavy. This got heavy. I'm pouring
Right.
another drink. Hold on.
I don't think it's too far gone. I don't know if enough of us care enough to want to start putting in effort for us to get along. Um, and I think that I don't have the answers for why we don't get along in the first place. Like I look at other communities and I watch how they put each other on, and I watch how we compete against each other and try to get ahead of each other. Um, like for example, all the foreigners that are not from the US, right? One of them will get over here and then they start bringing their other pieces of family, or they bring their mom, they bring their sister, they bring everybody over, and they open businesses together and they work together, right? Hispanics, they work together hardcore. Hardcore. They from a garage sale, all of them come and buy from that garage sale, even though they all know each other and they all know who was wearing the damn clothes. Don't matter. They support each other. And then when I look at our community, I'm always seeing it's almost like the only people we support is celebrities, which is even worse. But I only see us like waiting to like try to keep each other down. If I know something, then I'm not gonna put him on because I don't want Ken to get ahead of me, so I can't hit Ken to the game, and we see each other as competition, and we're not working together, and I don't have the answer for why. What's different about us?
I think it's a lack mentality. The way we see it, there's just not enough to go around. And if I'm gonna be successful, Dewan, you can't do well. Eric, you can't do well. Ringo, you can't do good. Kendra, so sorry, but Kenneth got to eat. So if I got to undercut people, if I got to, do things to throw shade or whatever, or to discredit your platforms, that's how people see it. And if you look back in time, like when you start seeing Black people really getting independently wealthy outside of like plantations and sharecropping and farming, those types of things, in America, it was the entertainment industry, right? So that spotlight comes down on one Black person. Well, you got the bands and all that, but like back in them days, you got one dude, one woman up there singing or doing whatever they do, tap dancing, name a skill, but it would be that person. And in those times, there would never be two. It's always that one. And I think we've carried that with us. So even with as recent as hell, like the 80s, 90s, still going on, but like look at Richard Pryor and Eddie Murphy. He was saying that, Richard kind of took that mantle from, I want to say Cosby, Pryor kind of held it at the same time, but Pryor more so took it away from him, took it in a whole different direction and pissed Bill off. And then Pryor said, Eddie, here you go. And then Eddie from there, you can debate what happened there. Some people say Chappelle kind of held the crown after that. Other people, they have their own opinions, but it always seems like there's that one golden spot for a Black man or woman to thrive in. And outside of that, the one plant is growing versus a garden. Yeah. And we just don't see that.
Let me
Mm.
jump off. Let me jump off of what you were saying right there. I think it comes back to a lack of knowing where you come from, right? And I say that because Kendra brought up the point of Hispanics, Asians, right? They come to this country, but they remember what it was like having to swim across the river. They remember what it was like, the 23-hour long flight, 12 tetanus shots, a citizenship test. They remember what it was like, and they don't want anybody else to experience that pain.
Mhm.
Whereas Black people, we look at the pain as a badge of honor, right? I mean, if you look at the rap industry, right, those same celebrities, right, it seems like there's a competition of who can struggle rap the hardest. Oh man, I grew up selling crack on the block. That okay, you might have grew up selling crack, but you wasn't up at 4 a.m. selling crack. Then the next dude that comes along, oh, 4, I was up at 2:30 having to cook it. Then, like, you know what I'm saying? There's a seems like there's a competition of who can struggle the most, and that seems to be what gets glorified, instead of remembering, hey, collectively they fucked with us, right? Like collectively our history was robbed. Collectively our ancestors dove in oceans to stop from being slaves. Collectively we went through segregation, Jim Crow laws, and collectively they're trying to take our voting rights as we speak, right? We don't look at it like that. So once you divide the person, right, you limit the appearance of opportunity. Ken, is the differentiation that I have, right? You limit the appearance of opportunity, and then I'll take out my competition.
Mhm.
Even though there's multiple spots, I'm gonna make it appear like there's only one, and I'm
Oh
gonna snipe
yeah.
everybody else
Oh
off
yeah.
for you.
I'm hearing nothing but mental health issues and trauma. That's what I'm hearing. Like it sounds like a lot of trauma trickled down, and we're stuck in the same mindset where Dewan, oh, my struggle got to be worse than Ringo can and Dewan. You know, like it's that's a mental issue. Like I believe that if Black people get out of their own fucking way, we would be so much better. We only come together when race is attached, and that's fucking sad. It's terrible that we can only come together when, and I'm sorry to say it, like Ringo said it earlier, George Floyd. Everybody was, like
Tragedy.
George Floyd shook the fucking world.
Mhm.
Like it wasn't just about our community, white people, German people, European, whatever, everywhere. They were like, yo, that's not right. So you want Black people to get together, attach race to it.
Wait. Let me jump in right there, because on the George Floyd thing, right? We weren't all together on that, because there was some issues that happened during that thing where I know a group of people that weren't happy with the way that the shit was being handled. Even I called out the Black Lives Movement, like, on air. It was like, yo, where's the guidance? Where's the direction? Okay, we're rioting, we're getting TVs and shit, but what's our ultimate objective? Even I called them out for that, right? So but
People
there's
getting independently wealthy, buying real estate with off the name of people who are deceased now.
Yeah.
You got slogans.
Go,
You
now,
got
now go, now go, now go
what do you
back.
wonder?
Now go take that,
So
take your
bad.
point, put it on your previous point where there's only one spot.
Mhm.
Like the options are limited. That's some mental health shit. Like we're traumatized. We're traumatized because we don't know who we are. We don't know where we come from. So we try to create. Okay, I'm going to create off of a struggle. I am going to create off of my hustle, my grind, my work ethic. It's harder than everybody else. Yeah. Fuck, get out your own fucking way and realize we all share the similar struggles, and we just don't know where to go. We don't have leaders in our community. We have we got some people talking, making noise, but we all can't come to a collective idea of where the fuck we should be and where we want to go.
And when you say leaders, I don't think we need an MLK. I don't think we need Malcolm X. I don't think we need any of these folks. I think we need people who are willing to say, at a local community level, let me lead this community. Somebody say, let me be captain of the cool kids, and let me lead the cool kids. Let me get somebody who's able to be well-versed enough in a niche that they can run that niche and have other people in that niche too help build it versus saying, I speak for all black. You know how black people are not a monolith. Black people are so diverse, so diverse.
Bro,
And
let me
you can't speak for everybody. So you got to have mentors, leaders, coaches in your different communities, in your different lanes.
A board meeting.
Here's one of those things. Here's one of those things that I never thought that I would say in my life. When it comes to that, Kenya, I think you're absolutely right. But this is one instance in which gangbangers got it right.
I agree. Fraternities too, throw them in there.
Fraternity, gangbang, they have it right. Where like, the chief of police will meet with the heads of all these gangs. Like, okay, you from 63rd, you from, you know what I'm saying, you from Gray Street, you from, you know what I'm saying, you from Hoover, you from, hey, look, I just need this weekend to go off peacefully. Now, I'm not asking y'all to control the city, but if you can control your people, you can control your people, you can control your people, and you can control your people, right? But you take that concept and like you were just saying, Ken, like, all right, cool. All right, you lead these people, you lead these people, you lead these people. Like, you know what I'm saying? Ringo and Eric lead the ball guys. Kendra lead the women. Ken you lead the Afro crew. Dewan, you lead the nerds, right? And collectively, you know what I'm saying, we can make a movement. And now it's not 100 million people coming together looking for direction. You got 5 people that can come together and be like, okay, here's the direction we need, boom, and then disseminate that back. So you're absolutely right with that point. But I think this is one instance where we can be like, yo, hey, the gangbangers got it right on this.
Right. Tribes. Now, people say gangs, but people get turned off by that language. But I always use tribal for our people and for really most people. You look at the tribes of Israel, you look at the tribes of the Native American tribes. There's so many different tribes, and they're usually pretty small, and pretty compact, and everybody served a purpose in that tribe, right? There was no wandering person who wasn't employed, who didn't have some type of thing to attribute to the tribe. So when I look at it like that, and all these tribes make up a nation, the nation of bam, insert your filler. So the black nation, right?
I mean,
lead your tribe. Find your tribe first, and then lead that joker.
Well, I mean, let's bring it to Ken, me and your day-to-day job right now, right? We're both active duty military, right? I don't know what you do, but you know that I'm spec ops, right? Like, so like there's dudes that I go to work with every day, and I don't know what they do. Just like it's dudes that, you know what I'm saying? Because it's not my business. My job is to do this. Okay, we got a mission. Like, we're on a C-17 on the way to God knows where, right? When we touch down, my job is this. I'm not worried about what this and this does. Okay, here's the overall objective, right, that we're trying to accomplish. Dewan, I need your squad to do this, and this squad needs to do this, but I don't give a fuck about the instructions that they're being told, right? Is it all coming together for like the completion of the mission, right? So first we need a mission, and then we can start to break that stuff down. And I mean, it's dope. Like the same people who's taken from us has also shown us the way.
But the thing is, though, we have a mission, but I think like what Ken said earlier is that people need to understand that we all have one person can't speak for us all. Like I said, I can go back to the whole comedy thing where they pit people against each other. So you got Cat Williams going at Kevin Hart, Cat Williams going at Cedric the Entertainer. No, all right, Kevin Hart takes his tribe over here. Cat Williams has his tribe here. Cedric the Entertainer has his tribe here. All right, cool. We want the same things, but one person can't speak for us all. And that's the problem, is that the one person wants all the glory. And then if they're not getting the glory, then then they feel like somebody's hating on them. And back to the Black Lives Matter thing that falls into this. The head of the Black Lives Matter, the lady that took the money and bought herself a $2 million house.
No, it was more than that. It was more than that.
More than that. Oh, I lowballed her.
But she had a couple properties.
I thought she bought like 3 houses or something.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. But things like that happen when we look to one person to speak for us all. It's impossible for one person to speak for me, because my issues, yes, we're all black, but we all have different issues. You know what I mean? My issue, Eric, since Dewan called us out, my issue is we might want hair.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Keep some road game, baby.
You know, Kendra might want this, Dewan might want this, Ken might want this. So one person can't speak for us all because they all might say, you know, if somebody's speaking for me and you, Eric, oh well, they said they want here. Then they're gonna look at all of us and go, well, they all said that they want here. Nobody,
Facts.
they all
And
don't
not
want
even
here.
that, but
The other ones have here. It's just these two. You
do
know
you know
what I'm
how
saying?
hard it is to lead a bunch of people to at one time in a way that makes sense?
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
even from a military perspective, right? We've all done DNC, drill and ceremony. Everybody's been marching, right? So everybody notices that when you have a platoon or below, that's a lot easier to maneuver than somebody saying go move that whole battalion. You can't do that. It's so many people. So I think of it like like elementary school and how all them kids be going to lunch. You got lunch leader, right? Or a line leader.
Yeah.
That line leader controller, whoever behind them. Everybody follow that line leader to go to the same place, which is the cafeteria. And now when you get to the cafeteria, you're gonna get into what? The cafeteria line, and you pick up what you want to. But that line leader led you to that place, and then from there you go sit down where you want to.
That's a fucking bar. Son.
So we're not looking for some little kid to lead the whole school because that's damn near impossible. Tell me where to eat, and once I learn where to eat, I can pick up what I want to.
And that's the thing, and that's the key, and that's what I think.
That's a bar, son.
Dropping,
a lot of
dog. We
people,
dropping.
people really do miss it. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Eric.
No, I was just gonna ask, right? You know, let's address the elephant in the room. How can we like we're talking about a people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about our community. What about our community? What are we doing wrong? As a podcast community, I'm sorry,
Wait,
bullied into a podcast. She just did it because she was like, everybody keep inviting me. I'm gonna do it. Ken took the long way, and he was like, you know what? I mean, all right, fuck it, let me do it. Hey, whatever. You took it from your different conversations.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'm the only one who was like, yo, I want to start a podcast. Am I the only one who really wanted to start a podcast?
Watch it, Joe Rogan.
Probably.
Yes.
I listen to some people. Man, shut up. Nah, man, I think obviously, right, me being the statistician that I am, right, I looked up like conflict and shit like that, right, and all conflict come down, like when it comes to like a majority of people, comes down to 5 things, man. It's info, value, interest, relationship, and structure.
Mm-hmm.
Right, that's what it all comes down to, right? The info is going to be the same, right, and how you receive it is going to be different. Mm-hmm. How valuable it is to me is going to be different, right? Like if the dude comes out here and be like, all right, cool, we all have to grow afros, buy some leather, right? Like y'all two gonna be paying attention, all right? But how the fuck we gonna grow some afro? And I'm like, I'm fat. Why the fuck am I gonna be wearing leather, right? He's gonna be like, all right. The interest level right then changes based off of what they're talking about and when they're talking about it, right? And then the relationship to it all, right? And then I think this is what you're talking about, like, community then like versus podcast, like, right? I might not like 6'2" bald, dark-skinned dudes, right? Like now, man, you got a fucking problem, right? Mm-hmm. And then the structure, right? Because a lot of people have a problem with the structure, the way the shit is structured, the way it's delivered to people, right? Like, so like you might be dropping bars, but if I don't like the way that you're saying it, goddamn, I'm not listening.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right. And then you look at what the structure is supposed to be, because my view of what it's supposed to be might be different than Ken's. And I'm damn sure certain that it's different from the way that Kendra think the shit should be structured, just based off of the text message we was having coming in here.
Off of the group
right?
chat.
You know what I'm saying? So like those are the 5 like major like beefs, man. And I honestly think that like there's a such thing as being cordial and going along and supporting the mission versus like looking for it to be perfect. And I think too many of us look for shit to be perfect more so than just supporting the overall betterment of our community.
But I mean, I think like everything that we're saying, I think plays a big part in both in our community and then in the podcast community. Because the thing is that everything that, I mean, I'm honest enough to say there's a bunch of people that I follow, and I've never ever listened to shit that they put out. And it's
Mm.
like I said, because for me, I'm honestly it's to support the community, to support the community. Because the thing is, I don't have a problem with anybody, making it. It might, somebody might put something out, and I might not be interested in the shit at all. But if their, numbers are way up there, I don't have a problem tapping in and go, hey, yo, how'd you do this, or you know,
Right.
how did you do that? For example, and I know Dolomite gonna get tired of me using his name, but like for Dolomite, he does the solo thing. And I asked him, I was like, how the hell do you do that? I can't sit there for an hour by myself and just talk to the microphone.
I mean, shout out to Uncle Dolomite, man.
Yeah, most definitely.
Shout out to
Yeah.
Dolomite.
Because I'm like, how do you do it? That's not my way. I couldn't do it the way that he does it. But that's his lane and that's what he does. I listen to Dolomite shit because I'm like, he figured it out. And that's the thing when we mentioned it earlier. He figured it out, but instead of us as a community in the podcast and out in the real world, instead of us going to that person saying, "Hey, how'd you do X, Y, and Z?" It's, "Oh, fuck him. He think he better than us because he this, and this." But you didn't ask him how he got to that level, how he did this, and how he did that. And I just want to. I mean, we talking about it already, but I just want to know why can't in a smaller community outside of you know Black Lives Matter, all this other shit, in the podcast community, why the hell can't we get along instead of just the backbiting and all of the shit somebody make it? Because even if we do this and let's say one of you all, let's say get an endorsement off of this, I'm not looking for nobody to come back and go, hey, Ringo, I owe you this. No, the only thing I want from you, hey, how did you do it? What was the conversation that you had with that person? I'm not looking for you to turn around and go, hey, here go a couple of dollars, or I don't need a shout out in front of everybody. You could talk to me behind the scenes. Just let me know how you got to whoever, how you got that endorsement from Walmart or a sponsorship, whatever the case is. That's what I want. But for some reason, we can't do that it's not that we can't. People don't want to do that way. They want the spotlight and shit. So how do we? That was a long way for me to ask. How the hell can we change that shit?
No, man, I think that happens in pockets. Um, right? Because like there's a lot of people that the Grown Man Logic page like talks to like behind the scenes, bro. That like a lot of people don't even fucking know. There's conversations that page has, right? That like the people are unfamiliar with. Hey, you all right? You ain't put out nothing in about 2 weeks. You feeling all right? Cool. Oh, you good? All right, cool. Hey, boom, boom, boom. Here's what I thought. Blah, blah, blah. Instead of third, yo, here's what I thought about your show, right? Like even that tutorial that Dolomite put out, like you know what I'm saying, well, about setting up his shit, right? Like I asked him to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't know that, but like here you go, you got the exclusive. I humbled myself and asked him how to do that shit because I personally was featured on his show and like my audio was trash because I had these headphones in and like Kendra and Ika will tell you like I refuse to fucking upgrade technology because I don't know how to do it. But like my audio as a result of that was trash and he was like, yo, fuck that. Here's how I do this, blah, 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 this, that, and the third. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna put out a tutorial for it, boom, 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 this, that, and the third. And best believe I got that one saved, like rip the audio. But at the end of the day, right, like it comes down to ego, and nobody like wants to be like told anything, or the people that are the loudest are the most ignorant people, right? Like the people that you see out in the podcast community that make the most noise, like are the most uninformed, right? And if I'm being quite honest, like I'll share anybody's shit, but like there's a lot of people that just put out, quite frankly, trash content, right? As a result of that, like you'll never know. I'm just like I'm calling it what it is, right? Like people, like everybody doesn't deserve to be behind a camera or be like on a microphone, right? And that could be people's opinion of me, like whatever. That could be people's opinion about whatever, right? But like a lot, like I'll share it because I want to see you eat, and I want to see the Black podcast community like grow, and I want to see it eat. But at the end of the day, like if you putting out trash content, it's not gonna catch on. And then when somebody tries to sit you down and pull you to the side and be like, hey, maybe you should I'm saying research a little further than what you're doing, just at surface level shit. Because anybody who's calling you on it, if you can't speak intelligently about it, you're gonna get called out as a fraud, and then you make the Black podcast community look bad, not just your brand.
But
But
that
people
but that right there, the one we can't take constructive criticism, because that is then now you're a hater. So
Right.
we can't come and say, and I know this because I'm the type of person. That's why I usually just keep my mouth shut unless I personally know the person. But I'm the type of person, like in real life, I'll be like, hey, what you think about this and this. But okay, you're a hater now. Okay, why you just hating, you know what I'm saying, you mad because my thing did this and this. So we're it's almost like it's like unspoken rules. We're not allowed to give each other constructive criticism. You only allowed to cap, right? I'm only allowed to cap and give you, oh yes, that was good stuff. I'm gonna post your shit. I didn't listen to it, but that was some good shit. That's the only thing you're allowed to do.
I think people are sensitive, man. I think really what it boils down to at the end of the day is just like Erykah Badu said, I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit. And I think everybody on this right now is sensitive about their shit. When you get that podcast idea or any idea for that matter, but since we're podcasters and talk show hosts, I gotta do the appropriate salutations to everybody.
Appreciate you.
I got you. But because of that reason, right? And we're these supposed to be these mouthpieces that have these important things to say, and we're not putting out content that we think that like I'm doing it just for the sake of. Like me, I won't put out an episode if I ain't got shit, or if I feel like my quality isn't there, or there's something about the episode that I'm self-conscious about, no matter what it is. So there's a lot of backlog that I have that I'm trying to clear right now, and I'm trying to get over that. That's my vulnerable moment for the day, but trying to get over that perfectionism so that more content can be out and people are like, oh, I actually do like that, and I can get over this one or two things. But we're sensitive, and when people attack that, you attack what I'm sensitive over, this thing that I've taken all this work on to, people start getting all over the place. They start lashing out, they start acting irreverent, irrational.
But here's the thing, right? And I'm saying this, right? Everybody don't put out Erykah Badu quality, and everybody didn't earn a reputation that Erykah Badu had. No.
That's how you feel.
No. That's how the majority of the universe feels. This is bullshit. Listen. Here's the thing. See. Right now, Ken, I feel like that you're coddling people that put out trash fucking content, right? Like here's the thing, right? Like you know who you are, right? And I'm not like Ringo. I'm not gonna start no beef on your platform.
Call him out, Dewan.
Right?
Call him out.
I'm not gonna do it.
Hey,
I'm not gonna do it. But what I'm saying is a lot of people put out like garbage content. Either the advice is bad, or it's extremely one-sided, right? And if that's the audience that you're going for, right, and the people that follow you, you're creating a bunch of toxic fucking followers. I will use Fresh and Fit, right, from like because they were a major podcast on YouTube doing their thing, right, and they created a lot of toxic fucking people following them because they lied, they paid, a lot of toxic men following them. Yeah, okay, fine, toxic men.
People.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine because they came
they're
out.
Men. They're not people. They're men.
Right. They jump. Right. You know what I'm saying? I'll use them because they're, you know what I'm saying, they're the level up from us, right? You know what I'm saying? We're all sitting at, a couple thousand. They were sitting at 100,000, right? Those kind of numbers, right? So but they created a lot of toxic followers because their content was trash. It was entertaining, but it was trash. At the end of the day, it did nothing for the elevation of the people, the elevation of the culture. It did nothing to make anybody better. But it was all in the name of that shit. In the meantime, they were scamming followers into like buying their shit, signing up for fake online courses and everything. And meanwhile, they're doing the opposite of what they're preaching, right? But that happens on a minor level also. And just because everybody doesn't get called out, it doesn't mean that like we don't fucking see or know what the fuck's going on.
And okay, I'm sorry. Let me just say this really quick. I get where Ken is coming from because I mean, honestly, I don't feel like I'm sensitive. Like I think you can come and say, hey, that that shit was trash. And I'll be like, okay, why? You know, I'm not sensitive, but I do understand when you put time, effort, and energy into a product and then, you know, maybe taking constructive criticism as, oh, okay, that was hurtful, or, you know, you're being sensitive towards it. I get that. But at what point do you, because being sensitive, that gets in your own way, right? So like if my son plays football and I let him break down crying every time he loses or hits his knee, and don't send him back out there, or hold him back from some games, how can he get better at playing football? So how can we get better if we're being overly sensitive to the point where we can't take a little bit of constructive feedback?
Right, and you should be able to. My point is though, that's what incites it, right? Like out of human level, that's why everybody is so like picky and like like raw to it. You know what I mean? Like I don't condone it. But go through Ken Fluence. Ken Fluence, close thing to David Goggins. Get your ass up and fix your ass. Fix yourself.
No, Ken, you do have a point, but I think it's more used as an excuse level.
Yeah. But you sign up to be a public figure. All right. And let's look at that. Figure is the noun and public is the adjective, right? In other words, that you belong to the public. Once you publish your first episode, everything that you do from that point on is up for scrutiny, up for debate, and up for that shit, right? But that goes back to people not doing their own research, right? Because, oh man, I didn't know that it was gonna come with this. I didn't know that it was okay. Now you know. If you put out some shit and people have some shit to say about it, tough shit, right? Like, and that's kind of how it is, right? And like to Kendra's point, we can't take constructive criticism. To Ken's point, right? Like I'm sensitive about my material, but it can't be, right? Because we're all ultimately offering our opinions. And everybody's entitled to an opinion. So don't jump on social media and be like, I got the right to feel what I feel. Hashtag I said what I said. But okay, when somebody else say what the fuck they say, you don't get upset.
Right. And that's where we get into what I call, well, it's an old thing, but J. Cole said it. False prophets, bro. Yep. There's so many false prophets, false podcasters, false whatever you want to call it. Insert the noun in there since we talking about grammar and syntax, but insert the noun. And there's so many false and pseudo faux versions of these people out here that they'll say whatever it is to get the like, to get the comment, to get the when you're on live, to get the little burst or whatever, the hearts and shit. You know what I'm talking about. And I think that's so ingrained in certain people, and they're chasing the clout so much, they're gonna say what they need to say, or they're gonna do what they need to do. They're gonna cause the reaction to the public to shake them on some Soulja Boy shit. In order to, honestly, because Soulja Boy knows how to work the crowd. Y'all playing, but he know how to get you to you and make it clap and all that. But like other people are taking notice. Tekashi 6ix9ine, the troll, the agitator, the instigator, that role, for whatever reason, that draws people. And if that's your marketing, I don't agree with it. Personally, I can't rock like that.
And that's what I was about to say. Pardon me, Dewan, but that's 100% the truth, because you got to think about it. We need some of the old school grandparents to talk to some of these podcasters and tell them, shit, just because you got a voice don't mean you should be talking.
Come on.
You know what I mean? And then that's what the hell
that's a bar.
Facts.
There's no right way to say the wrong thing.
What it is, because even with, like you said, with Tekashi, I think a lot of people try to take what 50 did and they try to apply it to them. Because if you think about it, all of the people that tried to do what 50 did to get into the game, a lot of them or all of them are gone. He's still here. He trolled Jay-Z. He trolled everybody, how to rob the industry, all of his early music.
Right.
And then
that's what happens when that's not you. You fade away when you're doing something that's out of character for you, and it's not you. You see somebody else doing something that's whatever, you emulate it because you think that's going to bring you success. What's going to bring you success is doing you. And if you don't know what you do, you don't know what it is that you bring to the table, go back to the table, go back to the desk and figure it the fuck out. But don't come up on people's shit, trying to rah and forget Ja Rule. But at the same time, where's your records, or where's your value that you're adding right now?
Exactly.
And see, that's the thing too. Like with that's the thing. If you're not authentically you have no business speaking into anybody else's life. So maybe you should be offended. Maybe you should go sit down and take several seats. Maybe you should go figure yourself out and then come back and teach us the lessons that you learned from not being you, right? That's what happens, right? Like, and that's okay. It takes all different types of people to make up a world. But to circle back to your original question, the reason that we can't get along in the podcast community is ego. Yeah, listen, there's no doubt. I don't know what the fuck the timestamps are gonna be, but there's no doubt that there's gonna be people in your DMs like, who the fuck did I think he is? Grown Man Logic only been podcasting 5. Yo, we heard all that shit already.
There's
We heard it.
somebody in there.
We know who we know who the fuck.
You know who you are.
But at the end of the day, right? It doesn't fucking matter. You all get hugs from us, right? You all get loves, you all get likes, you all get, because this shit is bigger than this podcast. It's bigger than your podcast. It's bigger than our egos. It's bigger than whatever difference of opinion you think that we might have had, right? It's bigger than that. And until we all get on that page and get on code and get on the mission of bettering Black culture and Black people as a whole, we're gonna continue to have beef. Like, okay, that's cool. Go talk about how many women you slept with. Go talk about how many dicks you sucked. Like, we're gonna talk about building this community over here, right? And then once you jump on this code, now we don't got beef no more, because all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying? It's not. There's no conflict anymore because we're all on code.
But it's so stupid because, and like I said, I'm not gonna give it any light or anything. But the shit that happened with me last week, the funny thing was, I got so many DMs and people telling me, was just like, and it's people that, you know, I was surprised to hear from, because it's just like, oh shit, you listen, or you follow on my page, but you actually listen to the podcast. And they were talking about, yo, you know, don't respond, this and that. And like I said, I'll tell y'all this too. I get it all in there. Y'all on here with me. Y'all came and sat down with me. Y'all family now. If y'all hear something, I don't have a problem with y'all critiquing me, goddammit. Let me know.
Bag,
Like, hey,
love,
my man, you might need to turn your sound up. That topic, I don't know, that's not you. I don't have a problem with it, because like I said, I'm learning as I go along. So I mean, if you willing to correct me, I mean, I take it as you really fuck with me, because if you didn't give a shit, you're not gonna critique me. Why sit there and write that DM to say, hey, I wouldn't do that, or I think you should try this. If you don't give a fuck, you'd have just been like Kendra said, hey, that's the best episode you ever put out. Knowing that it's some garbage. You know it's some garbage. You pat me on the back real hard, talking about you should do another one next week.
just like that.
Nah,
You
bro,
know what I mean? The same way, don't change nothing.
nah, man, and truthfully speaking, like, not giving light to the situation that happened to you last week, but that's why I responded to you in the comments.
Nah, I appreciate that. I mean,
Right,
like I said, there's a lot of people DMs and in the comments, and I was surprised.
Bro, that's why I was like, hey man, nah, man, look, nah, in the comments, because, like, you know what I'm saying, like, and I think I even said it again, like on our live, on the Grown Man Logic live. Yo, if you got beef with fucking Ringo, you're an asshole. It's like going to Hawaii and getting into a fist fight, bro. Like, it's you. If
How you gonna be mad on vacation, huh? You gonna be mad on vacation?
it's you. It's not the situation. It's you, right? But again, right? That's ego. That's cloud chasing. That's that crab in the barrel mentality that's been instilled in us, man. But it's 2021, man. We're 3 generations removed from that shit. Like, I'm not saying forget it, but it's time to fucking move on.
There's enough room for all of us. That's the thing.
Bro, like,
but there's a bit of like onus on you when everybody can win. If I can go through life with the excuse that, well, there's the white man after me and all y'all niggas is after me and this,
it's all
and that,
bullshit.
then I can walk around freely. And if I so happen to come up, then okay,
Yes.
cool, great, nice. But like if I don't, well,
I got
had
my
all these
excuses.
pressure. Right. I had all this trauma, I had all these things, and there's no responsibility that comes back to me now. But once the path is clear, and there's never going to be a perfect path, even for the most privileged person, there's no perfect path for nobody. So everybody's road has some type of obstacle, pothole in it. So for you to be like, oh yeah, I mean, nah, man, you really psyching yourself out before you even start the game.
Yeah. But
I think it all comes back to just that we all want to be the best. Like it can only be one best podcaster. It can only be one best rapper. Like, and it's no room for everybody to, like, we don't feel like it's room for everybody to have their own lane. Like, like for example, with podcasting, a lot of podcasters are running in the same circle doing the same shit, and I don't see a lot of I don't see anything different, or at least, it doesn't look different to me. But there should be, if everybody is staying true to themselves and true to their lane, okay, maybe my podcast then is straight for fun, just to get laughs, to talk about whatever my weekend was like. Maybe my podcast was to trash men. Maybe my podcast is to be funny. Maybe my podcast is to shed light on being better people, whatever the case is. But it ain't that many lanes. It's like everybody's doing the same thing and want to be the best at that one same thing. And it's almost like, is it not okay to have a separate lane? And we don't have a separate lane. It's because we're all trying to do the same thing. You get what I'm saying? Like, we're all trying to mimic the same thing.
Hold on, Kata, you said something, right? Like, you said, like, we all trying to create our, we all in the same lane. But I'm looking at it, right? And if we remove ourselves, like, take away, like, Grown Man Logic. Grown Man Logic is a podcast about a whole bunch of different topics. Ringo's podcast is about, a certain, there's 5 different lanes right here.
Mm-hmm.
Alone.
Facts.
Alone, right? Now, granted, we may come together and we may sit up there, like especially after talking about this, Ken, you was late to the group chat. I'm holding you accountable because you were supposed to text us group last Thursday, but I'm gonna hold you on that. Ringo's talking about, like, we need to talk, right? And a lot of Ringo's conversations are uncomfortable conversations, right? Ringo comes at it one way, I come at it a totally different way. Mm-hmm. The masses that listen to Ringo, they may like, oh yeah, I like the way he said, like, and I may say something else, but it's to a certain group of people, mm-hmm. right? So, like, they're around the same lane, but they're totally different. They're
same highway, different lane.
Yeah. Exactly. Like, so we can all eat.
But if we don't see it that way, though, like, if we don't see it that way, that's the problem. Like, I know obviously
that's people's ego getting in the way.
Yeah, but like, I know I'm not the only person talking about dating and relationships, and I know for sure that I'm not. But if I feel like I want to be the best, and I'll do whatever it is for me to be the best, and I don't want anybody to be above me. That's where it comes into line. It's not the fact that there could be multiple. There's different dating shows, but I deliver it a certain way, or this girl delivers a certain way. I get that.
The car lane. Get out the car lane and get into a bike lane.
But that's what I'm saying.
For real.
Drive to the shoulder of the road. HOV.
Narrow in. I don't do that. Everybody in these big ass, I'm a rapper. Okay, sure. I rap about guns and murder. Okay, cool. I'm like, the same thing with podcasting, relationships. And I do self-improvement and fitness. Okay, cool. Like, all these big bubbles, break it down. That's what I was saying before. If you don't really know what you bring unique, everybody's the best at something. Mm-hmm. At something. Everybody's been a master at something. Everybody's put 10,000 hours into something in this life that you are just great at. But if you feel like there's a lot of people in your lane, you're not really bringing out what's good about you, what's unique about you, what that gem inside. So you need to go back to your table and figure out what my bike lane is, because those car lanes is what makes people depressed. Those car lanes is what makes people feel like I'm not going fast enough, and like, where I feel like, oh, there's a semi in front of me. There's all these excursions and things I can't get beyond. I can't see beyond, because you are in a car lane. The lane is usually too big for you. Get in bike lane, get comfortable in it, and get as far as you can. And then from there, when you can pick up speed and get some momentum, then get yourself a car and get in the car lane. But until then, you need to be on a Razor scooter. You need to be on a Razor scooter. Kick
That's a
his
bar.
ass, son.
Listen, I ride a motorcycle, man. I get mad when I see things under 49 cc's, like on,
Hey.
on the fucking highway. You feel what I'm
You
saying?
understand?
Right? Yeah, I understand. Right? But them scooters